Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Tuesday Night Live podcast from the range with your host, John G. Johnson. What's up, guys? John, the firearms instructor, and welcome to Tuesday Night Live here from the range. We host this thing every Tuesday night. We're on, I don't know how many episodes we've got, but probably 2 years worth. And looks like we got 4 people are watching live right now, which we appreciate that every week. Thank you very much for being loyal and being here. We've got a great show for you this week. Hopefully everyone enjoyed this weekend's football games. I'm a Bucks fan. I did enjoy the Bucks winning that game, barely. And my wife's a Bears fan, and we were pretty excited at halftime. And they got their butt kicked after the fact. So it's kind of one of those deals. Hopefully, the Bears will figure all that crap out and get going there. Go ahead, someone give me a comment below. Let me know you can hear me just fine. It would be great if I could get someone to comment you can hear me. Thumbs up would be great, or whatever. That helps out tremendously. We're going to wait a few seconds here to see if we can get anybody else on. And then from there, we can get some stuff, start this program. Could someone give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? All right. Someone give me a thumbs up that you can hear me. Somebody. Yep. On stage. All right, everyone can hear me just fine there. That's good. Welcome to tonight's live. We are discussing 10 reasons why you suck at the range and how to fix them. If you are frustrated at the range because your shots are all over the place, do not leave the range wondering if it's the gun, because it ain't the gun, guys. It's not the sights. It's just you. The truth is, most shooters struggle at the range. Most are making the same 10 mistakes on a regular basis, and that keeps them from being inaccurate and inconsistent. In this live training tonight, I'm going to break down the 10 reasons why most shooters struggle at the range, why these problems happen. Every shooter experiences at least one of them. And I'd like to comment below and tell me what you are experiencing at the range that's causing you some challenges. And the exact fixes we're going to give you to tighten up your groups and shoot with more confidence. What tends to happen is we keep saying the same thing over and over and over again. But as a good teacher, a good instructor, my job is to say it until you hear it, until you understand it, until you believe it. And once you've got all that, then your confidence will soar. And I promise you, with confidence soaring, you are going to be more accurate with a pistol in the future. Number one problem that most people have is their foundation, which is called the grip. Having a bad grip. Why the grip causes the pistol to not be accurate is because it is moving or oscillating when you're trying to shoot the pistol. Most shooters grab the pistol like a hammer or hold on to it like a raw egg. you got somewhere in between you got to be, right? So you are letting the recoil control the shot. You need to control the shot as much as possible, and that's with a good solid foundational grip. If you don't know how to get a good solid grip, I recommend you check out one of our ebooks like Get a Grip. Those books are on our website and they'll give you the science of breaking down a proper grip. But to build simple for you, if you are right-handed, most of your power should come from your non-dominant hand, not your dominant hand, but your non-dominant hand. And you want to make sure that you're keeping your thumbs pointed towards the target and you're getting a good, solid 360-degree grip around the firearm. This will help us control recoil management. And if we control recoil management, we can control the firearm. Number two is not standing in a proper stance. You could be standing 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. You could be leaning backwards. I see a lot of people that put the weight on their heels instead of putting the weight on their toes. Your upper body can't drive the weapon if it is not in line with the weapon. If you are leaning back when you're shooting the pistol, that's where the recoil is going to go, is backwards. So what we want to do is work with a good solid foundation, feet shoulder width apart, bouncing on our knees, uh, driving the weapon forward, gentlemen, with your chest muscles, and controlling the pistol as soft or as hard as we have to keep the pistol level. Women, if you're using the same technique, you're going to do a push and pull method, which you're going to push the firearm out with your dominant hand and pull back with your dominant hand, a non dominant hand, and that's going to give you good, solid foundation. Number three, we need to work on is working on a good, positive, slow trigger press, not a trigger slap. Most people, we had some Germans here today, and they love to come to America and shoot firearms. But we have to get them to understand it's not about pulling a trigger, it's about pressing the trigger. And when you jerk, slap the trigger, you're moving the gun before the bullet even leaves the barrel. So your accuracy weighs an awful lot when you are doing any of these manipulations of the firearm. Trigger is such a big deal for us that we actually put together a full ebook for you guys on how to press. It's called Press That Trigger, and it takes the full science of the trigger press and helps you understand what the importance is, why it's important, and it really changes a lot of the accuracy when you get the confidence of a good trigger press. Most people tend to pull or manipulate the pistol with. I can give you a little bit of a little trick would be is to make sure that you feel the trigger breaking at a certain point, but you're applying pressure, slow continuous press back until the weapon fires. The shot should surprise you guys. It's you should not know when the gun's gonna go bang. We need to press it through. Now, obviously, the more time we spend behind the firearm, the more we start understanding trigger travel, and that trigger travel makes so much difference for us to allow us to become more accurate with a pistol. Number four is ignoring your dominant eye. One of the things that people tend to not understand is we have to marry the weapon and the eye together. And if we don't do that, like say for instance, Hey, Christy and Ron, how you doing? I'm glad you guys are here. Oh, thank you very much, Christy and Ron. Ron, how you enjoying that vacation, that retirement? Ron worked for the electric company for coo- forever, and he finally retired, and he's working harder now with all the honeydew lists than he ever had before. Don't get into your gun money, Ron. Don't get into your gun money. So dominant eye is so important for us because with the dominant eye, that's where the weapon and eye have to line up together and it makes you more accurate. We just had a lady in here. We just had a lady in here 5 minutes ago, left-handed, right eye dominant. So she has to push the weapon over to her right eye, right? If she's left-handed, right eye dominant, the gun and weapon need to be married together. And this will help you tremendously become a better shooter due to the fact that your eye and weapon are lined up together, which will make you right over the pistol. That's why years ago, when they brought out the Weaver stance, it was brought out for competition, not for defensive purposes, because it put you over top of the weapon. You had your right arm out, you drove it out, and you turned your chin and got your eye over the weapon. The challenge with the Weaver stance, it had 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, and when the academies and the sheriff's department, and the police department, all places started wearing bulletproof vests, they were opening up their sides to a bullet impact compared to when they've had the athletic stance 2 feet shoulder width apart, and they did the Oscillese stance with the arms are out there. The problem with the Oscillese stance is you got the gun over your nose and not over your dominant eye. If you're right-handed, got the gun over your nose, you're shooting to the left. If you're left-handed, got the gun over your nose, you're shooting to the right. And we just got to move our chin over the pistol the best we can. And what tends to happen with most students is they forget about that and they just try to push the pistol to a certain point, right or left. If you naturally get your weapon in your hand and you turn your chin, your arms will follow and it'll go directly over your dominant eye and make you more accurate, be honest with you. So, ignoring your dominant eye will cause a lot of inaccuracy for you. Poor sight system. People don't know how to sight a pistol properly. A large percentage of people learn how to shoot a pistol for what they see on TV. And I hate to tell you guys, the guns on TV don't have recoil. They're all fake. They not really got the full recoil of a real firearm. And on top of that, if you watch any movie, I joke and kid now with Heidi and I, we go to watch a movie of any kind. I'm always picking on the handgun grips that we see on TV. They go through all of this stuff. They get all these guys. They get, they get the grip guy. They get this guy. They get that guy. But they don't teach these people, the sheriffs, the police, or that are on TV, how to hold a gun properly. And you automatically know, oh my God, look at that grip. Look at this grip. And it's a fun thing. Years ago, I used to complain about how you would just shut up and watch the movie. Now every once in a while she'll say something about a grip on TV. Look at that grip. That's terrible grip. So I think it's kind of fun. So let me give you what I would recommend. And if you don't know what 6 o'clock hold is, it is something that I recommend. And I'm going to give you just a visual what I want you to see. If you had a Glock 19, which have a box in the back and a dot in the front, if you had a Smith and Wesson 2.0 of any kind or anything, you normally have two dots in the back, one dot in the front. If you have a Hellcat, you got a U in the back and a dot in the front. And then you've got some of the Springfields or a green dot in the front, two reds in the back. Those are all things, but you normally have some kind of three dot system or some kind of system on there. And what we need to think about is the bullet trajectory as it flies through the air, as it comes out of the barrel and crosses the line of sight. If you really, really think about it, and think about last this weekend watching those football players, the quarterbacks throwing those footballs, they surely didn't throw it in a line. They threw it in an arc to get to a certain point. And that's kind of what the bullet does. But the challenge is if you take the barrel of any pistol and put it into center of a bullseye, if you did no manipulation at all, you didn't pull the trigger, you didn't jerk the trigger, you didn't cause any kind of manipulation, that bullet is going to impact above the barrel point. It rises as it comes out of the gun. And what we try to teach students is a 6 o'clock hold. And that 6 o'clock hold is sort of like the golf ball, golf tee effect. You have the golf ball and you have the tee underneath it. Well, our sight system should be where the tee is, and the golf ball would be the bullseye. If you don't want to appreciate that, I'll give you the lollipop and stick method, which is the same thing, really. You got the lollipop and you got the stick, and our three dots down below make the stick, and the lollipop itself is the bullseye. And this is helping a lot of people. Now, a lot of manufacturers do it different ways. But what we're looking for mostly, if I can get you to get a consistent point of aim, we can fix any of your other issues. But it's challenging for us to not have a good point of aim, not have a good trigger press, not have a good trigger grip, not have a great foundation, and expect to be accurate with a pistol. One of them damn things is, well, all of them give, but a lot of them give more than anything. And when you get a bad sighting system down and a bad trigger press down, that's when we start getting those low and lefts, the low bullets. That's the impacts we get because we are not controlling the fire. We're not driving the pistol properly, and the bullets are impacting below where we're aiming. And if you're honest with yourself, if you are putting out greatest drill I can ever give you is take a black electrical tape, put it on a white piece of paper, put that white piece of paper in your line of sight up here on the target out here. Then turn around and put 5 rounds in the magazine, and I want you to try to impact that line. Impact that line with a bullet. This will tremendously tell you what manipulation you're doing. If your bullets impact the black line or just a little bit above the black line, then you're okay. But if they're impacting below the black line, you are doing couple different things. You could be pulling the trigger, which is manipulating your front post down. You could have the gun below your line of sight. Remember, we talked a while back about your horizontal and vertical line. Well, that works great in shooting because our horizontal line is our eye line, and our vertical line is the weapon over our dominant eye. So our dominant eye is the vertical line, and the horizontal line is our eye line. And where those two cross each other, that's your point of aim. And that's where you should be as most accurate as you can be, as long as you don't do any kind of manipulation of the firearm. So, understanding how to aim a pistol properly will make a big difference. And I see a lot of people trying to figure this out by shooting 15 rounds at a time. And that becomes a real challenge for us because we can control the pistol with 5 rounds. It's very hard to control a pistol with 15. So, very good there. Number 6 I would give you is there is no follow through. There are no you are dropping the gun to see where the impact of the bullet happens, and that changes the trajectory of the bullet itself, and we're not getting any kind of follow through. You could imagine if you wanted to throw a baseball from home plate to second base, you're going to have to kind of work it fast, but if you were to throw the ball, drop your arms, that's where the bullet's gonna go where your arms drop, and that's kinda where the baseball would go where your arms drop. We need to get it out there, point the glove to where it needs to go, and fire that bullet, fire that baseball to second base as quick as we can. But if we don't give ourselves the follow through, it's not going to go anywhere. It's not even to go half the distance because we're not putting any power. And that follow through is a real challenge for people because they don't trust their sight system to begin with. So if they're not trusting their sight system to begin with, the challenge happens when you are anticipating, or we call it prairie dogging. When you're prairie dogging over top of your sights, you're pulling your head up way above your sights to see what the impact of the bullet is. Once you start that habit, it's a bad habit to break. So you want to trust you are running the gun properly. Don't anticipate or don't look over, don't have a good follow through because this will make your shots dip more than anything else because our consistency and our confidence is not there because we don't trust when we shoot the bullet that's going to impact where we are. And I I challenge most students that come here to the range and they bring their target back up, that if you are not impacting what you're aiming at or impacting below what you're aiming at, there becomes the challenge for you. Your directory is a lot different. What I see happen to most students is they push their arms out in front of them and then bend their wrist to aim the gun. Well, that puts that gun at some weird angle. And today we had a group here, and I was just trying to educate them on a very common thing that happens is when you change the angle of the pistol to a downward angle, that's only where the bullet's going to go is a downward angle. So we need to keep a weapon level. We need to use our waist to aim the pistol more than our wrist. We do not want to aim with our wrist due to the fact that it's going to put the weapon at a weird angle. John Diamond, thank you very much for saying thumbs up. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for being here. Uh, Guys, if you want to get a shout out, go ahead and comment. We'll get you on there. And if you have any questions, obviously we'll answer any questions you have as well. Uh, Follow through is so important. People overlook it so much that it's not talked enough about, but you see it on a lot of different things. It's like doing a half swing or three-quarter swing with a driver. It's never going to go anywhere if you don't put the full power in there. But we all know putting full power on it. Kurt Richards, thank you from New Jersey. We appreciate you being here. God bless you. Uh, yeah, so follow through is such a big thing. And I think number 7, everyone has a little bit of issue with this. It's called anticipation. It's the flinching. I joke and kid with people all the time that each student that comes to the range has a Democrat inside of them. And I had a lady freak out about that. But what I'm trying to say was there's a monster inside every one of us that do not want to shoot. They do not want to hear the bang. They do not want to hear the recoil. They're forcing you to hurry up and get the hell out of here because it's so uncomfortable. Them we're anticipating, and it's causing a lot of flinching. And flinching happens when you pull the trigger and you dip the round. And it's an easy thing to see because a lot of people think, well, I'm not flinching. I don't know what you're talking about. Flinching, you know it. Yeah. All right. So take a buddy of yours to the range, have him put 5 rounds in your magazine, but make sure one of those rounds is a dummy round. And then he's not going to tell you where it is. And you go ahead and start engaging the bullets. Obviously, the first one will cut, the second one will cut, the third one will cut, and that fourth one that you think is a live round, well, it ain't gonna go bang because it's a dummy round. And then watch the front of your post of your firearm and see if it dips or were you able to control it. If you are putting a good trigger press consistently straight back with good trigger travel, good speed, no really speed or fast, just getting it back slow and letting that trigger come back, letting that trigger travel through its bases and get the feel of how far. D. Marshall, 34 from California. Tommy, Florida. Tommy, I can't even say it. Commie, for it's communist with California in the background. So that's great. Thank you for being here, D. Marshall. Appreciate you very much. Means a lot to me, buddy. I, I say buddy. I don't know. We're all buddies, so don't worry about. Don't take it. If you're a woman, don't take it at heart. We don't get a lot of women on here, but we need more women subscribers. So that's the key thing. We my demographic is 98.9% men and old men too. Maybe because I'm old. I don't know. We get young kids. We get I mean, my biggest thing is I think it's like 39 to 60 something is what the biggest demographic of mine is. The people who need my help for shooting, new shooters. So anticipation or fleeing. Why does this happen to people? Because you are trying to anticipate. Jane Weber, thank you very much from Dubai. Wow, man, that's awesome. I love that is so cool. You probably, sir, one of my furthest. I appreciate you being there, James Weber from Dubai. I had a guy come from. He's from uh, Brazil, but he runs a boat in Antarctica, and he is a icebreaker. And he came and did a class. He came to East Coast and came over and signed up for a class. So he is my furthest. I've had all over the United States and all over the world. We had some Germans today that came. Germans and we get Brazil and we get uh, Iceland and all over the place. But Dubai is pretty cool. One of those places I would love to go one day when the YouTube channel is huge and gigantic and I could do my stuff from all over the world. All right, so your brain thinks recoil and it equals pain. But if you are trying to control the weapon properly, you should not think pain. They should think control. So your hands want to really force the front of the gun down, which sends the rounds and the firearm low. If you ever been to the range and watched people shoot, you need to look at their pistol, and it tells you an awful lot of what manipulation is happening, whether they're manipulating with their thumbs, they're manipulating with their palm of their hand, they're manipulating with the front of their hand. They're doing a lot of different stuff. But if you cut a shot, guys, and you bring out the video camera and you watch yourself in slow motion, if your front post rises during the shot and comes back down, that's what we're looking for. When that front post is dumping, dumping, dumping when you're shooting, you're not doing something that's causing that gun to stay level. And a pistol that dumps is a bullet that dumps. So we want to make sure that we are trying to eliminate flinching as much as possible. And you say, well, John, how do I do that? And the easiest thing I can give you is to start implementing some kind of dry firing training implement before you do. And one of the things I learned with my master class, which we had one of those, and we had probably 25 students that signed up from all over the United States. My very first one we did, we had from Washington State to Boston, Massachusetts. And this was a Monday night thing, and we gave them 4 weeks to master their handgun. And each week we gave them the discipline of the week, homework of the week, but we started these students with a dry fire routine, and we started them working on the second week of 5 live, 5 dead. And that meant 5 dry fires, 5 live fires during these lessons. And the accuracy almost tripled when students started doing that. And if you're not implementing some kind of dry fire routine, and if you don't know what dry firing is, I have a full playlist on my YouTube channel, and there's videos on multiple YouTube channels, and there's a playlist of the master class what that talks about dry firing as well. And it's basically pretty simple, guys. You're taking a weapon, you're making sure it's empty, you're triple tech checking it's empty, you're going to rack the slide itself, and then you're going to slowly engage the trigger while aiming at something, getting a good consistent grip, good consistent sight picture, sight alignment, and let the weapon cut. Now, what's important is that if you're going to dry fire in your home or dry fire anywhere else, the weapon magazine, the range bag, the ammo, nothing can be in that room except you and that weapon. And you need to double and triple check that that weapon is empty before you ever put your finger on the trigger or you ever pull it. But once you start educating yourself on that trigger travel without the bang, right? We go to the range, we cut the shot, the anticipation happens, the flinching happens because we're trying to fight the recoil. Well, internally, your brain tells you, okay, tense up because here comes the shot. Tense up, here comes the speed bump. Now, when you're dry firing and live firing, you're confusing the hell out of your internal little guy, and he doesn't know, okay, every time he touches his gun, it goes bang. Well, it didn't go bang that time. It didn't go bang that time. So maybe I don't have to flinch every time I engage the trigger. And then that's what dry firing does. It gives us a better opportunity to keep a pistol level. And we all know that a level pistol shoots level. I should get a shirt that says that. I should get it. It's one of my it's one of my statements. One of the things I always say: a level pistol shoots level. So dry firing, if you're not dry firing or you're not getting the idea of dry firing, now I could tell you if you're just pulling the trigger and dry firing, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you dry fire properly, when you put a system together, you need to drive your weapon just like it's live and really cut the shots. If you dry fire properly, putting the pressure, putting the for it's a lady, you're pushing and pulling. For the man, you're pushing your pecs out. You're really controlling that weapon, and you're keeping a level. You can only do 20 of those, and you'll be fatigued because if you're doing it shitty or you're doing it half-assed, then you're not getting anything out of it, right? Dry fire before you live fire makes a big difference on how you control the weapon. The more you control the weapon, the better it is. Jose Sanchez from Puerto Rico, thank you, thank you, appreciate you being here, buddy. Thank you, thank you. Uh, that's the key thing because there's not too many times that we can engage a trigger and not cost us money. Dry firing cost us nothing but time. We always do any of these drills that I give you through my YouTube channel, through the Handgun Training System, which is another program. We have people every Monday night that I give them a drill, I give them homework, I give them a PowerPoint presentation. It's a membership based thing, but these guys are all over the United States. They take one of my drills, they complete one of my drills, they send in their targets for me to identify, look at, and see what problems they're having. And it's just a fun way for us to build a community, me work with people throughout the United States and work with the abilities of them without them having to come and visit me. I put together the handgun training system for our group of people who did the masterclass with us to extend their education with us. We did 4 solid weeks of the handgun training system, and then we went right to the we did 4 weeks of the master class, and then from the master class, they graduated into the handgun training system, which give them the same course system that they have. The cool thing, no matter where you get into the system, let's say, for instance, you guys signed up for the handgun training system starting this Monday night at 5:45. Well, you've got archive of 20 plus drills, PowerPoint presentations, why the drill's important, what's it going to help you with, so you never get bored at the range. That's one of the challenges of most people. They come to the range and they don't have a plan, they don't have a program, they have no idea what they're going to do at the range. They're in a mentality of a mag dump day. Mag dump days are fun for the gun store because we sell a shitload of ammo in mag dump days. They're not fun for you because every time you mag dump, what are you building? You're building bad habits. That's why I tell every student, number 9 of this whole program thing is get a plan. Get something you can do. Find something that's going to work. Get 6, 7, 8 drills that you consistently remember. Range time is not for the mag dump mentality. Range time is to learn from every bullet you shoot. It's as simple as getting 5 shots down range, bringing it in, identifying what you're doing right, identifying what you're doing wrong, and try to fix it. Because every time you dump 15 rounds into a target, although it may feel good, probably if I was going to go and really lay it out, most likely after 5, you're just along for the ride. And what are you getting out of that at that point in time? Nothing but bad habits. That's what you're getting out of it. Mag dumps don't teach you anything. What teaches you something when you put 5 rounds downrange. I always tell students, get you some educational stuff, like get you some tape, get you maybe some magic markers. This is one thing we gave the masterclass guys. We gave them the ability to understand what they're doing wrong. If you can identify what you're doing wrong, you're going to be a lot better shot. You're going to be a lot better because then you can get that aha moment. You know what an aha moment is? The moment you realize, oh shit, that's what I'm doing wrong. And we get that all the time. You should get that all the time. If you're challenging yourself, I don't understand why you want to come to the range and put 400 rounds down range just to burn off steam, just to do that. Yeah, I get it. I mean, I'm okay with it, but don't expect that. Our job really is to be as confident as we can be with these handguns. When shit hits the fan, we need to get to muscle memory, and muscle memory isn't about being accurate. It's about being confident. And if you're spending a large percentage of your time mag dumping, I'm not sure if you're going to be accurate when you need to be. And keep in mind, you're responsible for your bullet till it hits the ground. Whether it hurts, maims, kills, or paralyzes, you're criminally, morally, and civilly responsible. Shoot the bad guy and wound 15 other people? You ain't a hero. You ain't a hero at that point. You may go to jail for that. Especially if you did something to hurt somebody else. Because although you're allowed to protect yourself, you're not allowed to shoot other people. You know? So number 9 was no training plans. What is your training plan? Do you have a training plan? Well, I have one. The Handgun Training System is a training plan that I'll get. You guys can sign up for. This is that $29. $29 a month. You get 4 targets each month. You get 4 PowerPoint presentations. You get 4 educational why we're doing this drill, why it's important, what's it going to give you, what's the benefits of it. And at the end, you get to work with me for 4 weeks. Now, most of my training classes are during the winter, they're 145 to 150 to 160, according to what it is. What if I told you you could work with me for 4 weeks for $29 a month? Now, this is a membership thing, obviously. I'm going for quantity on this, but it's something you get to do. You can sign up for it, you can get in and out of it, but I'm willing to give you one for free. If you're interested in the handgun training system at all, you can go ahead and comment or go to our YouTube channel and comment in regards to the handgun training. Just do HTS, and then if you put HTS in the comments over there, we'll get you the information and get you signed up for this Monday and see if you like it or not. We'll give you one for free. And if it's something you want to do, then you can sign up for it after the fact. And you will enjoy it. It is a fun little deal. Number 10 is most students, and most I see, and I watch the videos all the time. I'm sitting in here at the range, people are in the back shooting, and I'm watching the guy hold the firearm and kind of look at it like, what the hell's wrong with this firearm? What's going on with this fire? Why is this firearm missing its targets? Why is it not doing what I need to do? I know how to shoot a pistol. Trust me, I've been shooting a long time. And then you go and you look, and he's low and left, he's high and right, and they're blaming. They come in here, hey man, you got a, a, a sight pusher? And I go, yeah, why? He goes, well, this Glock is shooting low and left. I said, you sure that Glock shooting low and left, or you shooting low? I know how to shoot a pistol, buddy. I'm in the Marines for 25 years. And I go back and take the gun and go back there and shoot it, and they ain't shooting low and left. And then so one of those things, wow, what's going on? And he tries to look at it and see what it is. Now, is there a time in the world where sight could be pushed off to one side? Yes, of course. I'm not going to say they all can't do that. But realistically, majority of the time, it is not the pistol, folks. It is not your sights. It is not the ammo, because your weapon doesn't like them, or the equipment. It is you. It is you. You are doing something that's causing that weapon not to be accurate. I am working on a YouTube video of the same topic, and I've been 2 or 3 days of, I don't want to be rude, and I don't want to be, but it's sort of confrontational when somebody has been shooting for an awful long time. Yeah, one of my best and worst classes is someone who, after many, many, many years of shooting, and shooting okay. They're not shooting great, but they're shooting okay, and they're able to do what they need to do. And we have the conversation back there. Well, let's go ahead and see where you are, and let's see if we can kind of. I don't want to change you completely because you're going to go back to your weakest training, anyways. You're going to go back to your problematic stuff no matter what I teach you. But if I can adjust you in some way or another, and it fits for you, then we're going to do it. And it's kind of fun for those classes because we get them shooting and then we turn around and adjust them by just probably maybe two thumbs forward or getting a proper grip or driving the chest. And all of a sudden they start stacking, stacking, and stacking. And then once we get done, I kind of go, okay, now you and I've worked together. Let me put a new target up and I'll give you 25 rounds and see what you retained. And I go back out there and they are back to their normal ways. And it's not their fault. It's just the way they've been taught. And they've been taught to hold the gun away and shoot away. That's going to help them. Now, I've caught students who have they always shoot low and left, so they aim high and right to compensate for the low and left. And that is not the way you want to become accurate with a pistol. You need to solve the low and left or whatever it's causing you. And there are a couple different things we talked about today that's causing it. And we need to make sure we're doing all those right. Because the moment you adjust for high, if you shoot high and right because you shoot low and left, the moment you aim high off the target like that, that's the moment where you don't do the manipulation like you'd always do, and then the bullet goes impacting somewhere it's not supposed to. Now, in an indoor range or an outdoor range, it ain't gonna make a difference. But if you're in the middle of the Walmart parking lot, in the middle of some kind of critical defense situation, you don't want to be aiming off the target, if that makes sense. You want to be able to be as confident as you could with the firearm. All right, folks. Now you know the 10 biggest reasons why shooters struggle at the range. And more importantly, you know how to fix them. Knowing how and what to do is going to be the biggest thing I can give a student. Many years ago, Johnny put my fat head on a doctor's body, and we did a couple videos. They're on our YouTube channel still. It's called The Shot Doctor. And he put a stethoscope around my neck, and there I stand there in front of a target, and I would bring my little pokey thing out, and I would just take a target that I've got over the weekend at the range, and I would go identify what I think was going on with the student, where you've got they're impacting low and left is pretty easy. Low and left is normal anticipation with putting too much finger in the gun and having it over your nose, especially for right-handed students, and you're going to impact low and left. What tends to happen, people sometimes will be shooting high and right. High and right is very common for right-handed students who are squeezing really hard with their right hand, and the gun torques over to that direction, and that causes high and right. You could be a left-handed student and shoot right and low because you're putting too much finger in the gun being left-handed, and you're manipulating the firearm down. Or if you're left-handed and you're shooting high and right, you're focusing on your front post and not your back post, and you've got the gun at an odd angle. And then if you are high and right, we're working on most of the time high and right is focusing on the center of your barrel in the center of the target. and then because the bullet's gonna rise above your barrel sight system, and that causes it. So you can kinda start identifying what you're doing, but if you did 15 rounds the first magazine, 15 rounds the second magazine, 15 rounds the third magazine, you don't know what bullet's what. That's why get your markers, get you green, blue, red, purple, I don't care, black, I don't care. And then every time you put a 5 round string downrange, pull the target in, circle those 5 shots wherever they are, line them up, mark them, and then when you start visualizing the red one and the blue one and the green one, there's a lot of things can happen. One, if your first shot is always a pull, well, we know we probably need to slow down a little bit and not cut that shot so fast, right? But if you kind of look and see, okay, one, two, three, we're good. 4 and 5 are all over the place. You most likely are loosening up your grip during the shots, and you're losing your grip as further you get along. Hence, those guys that shoot 15 rounds start with a pretty decent hole for the first 5, and then all of a sudden you start getting this wide egg or bigger circle around there, and it gets wider and wider, and then you'll catch a couple coming completely off the target because then we're getting a little sloppy with the trigger. And these are the things that you need to identify. Knowing the mistakes, knowing how to fix the mistakes, and really identifying what's causing them is the easiest thing I can give you. And you can actually start identifying these things. My recommendation is get yourself some kind of plan when you come to the range. Keep yourself accountable. Challenge yourself every week. I think this is very important because range time should not be easy, guys. Range time should be a challenge for you because you want to be challenged because we need to build that structure of muscle memory to a point that we don't have to think about it. I always tell students when you come to the range, who drove here today? And then one of them will raise their hand if it's a couple or whatever. And I just kind of question them. So when you came to the stop sign at the end of the road here, when did you start thinking about touching the brake? I didn't think about that. It just naturally happened. Well, that's what we got to get to. We got to get that natural feel. We got to get that natural ability to get comfortable. Because once you start getting to 75, 80% accurate, things start changing an awful lot. And it only starts when you start. And it only keeps going as long as you keep going. We talk about this an awful lot about building muscle memory. You got to do something an awful lot to build it. We don't have to, it's very unlikely that most of us could not get on a bicycle. I don't care what age you were and be able to ride a bicycle, even though we haven't been on one for years because it was part of being a kid and riding a bicycle. And that's kind of what all of this stuff we got to get to. We got to build a good, solid foundation, which includes grip and trigger control and sight picture and sight alignment. And we got to consume it as much as we can because in a real life situation, your body in high stress is going to cut everything it deems unnecessary, unnecessary. That's when you talk to these guys who got in a critical defense situation, they didn't hear the shot. They were in a tunnel vision situation. They didn't see anything else. They didn't see the muzzle flash. They didn't have the earmuffs on. They didn't really hear what was going on. You sound like you're in a little bubble at that point in time. Your heart rate's racing about 100 60 to 180 beats a minute, and it becomes so much more challenging for you. That's why we shouldn't have to give John Johnson a call and go, okay, I got the bad guy in my living room, John. What was the second step that you told me to do? What was the third step we need to do? What was the we gotta build it and build and build. That's why repetition is so important for us. That's why we gotta do it on a regular basis because not doing it is not an option. Not doing it is not an option. So make sure you're accountable. Make sure you are challenging yourself at the range. Stick to the 5 rounds. If you want to get at any kind of our training programs, we have them all on the internet. We have the ability. If you're local here, I would love to help you become the most proficient shooter you could be. You owe it to yourself, you owe it to your community. If you're going to carry a pistol for your protection, you need to be as proficient as you can. The handgun training system is pretty simple. It gives you a weekly drill. It gives you PDF downloadable targets. It's a step-by-step training designed to fix these exact problems. You get homework from us, you get coaching. So stop wasting ammo and start actually seeing some results. Tell me, are you happy at the range? Are you shooting the best you can shoot? If not, let me help you. Let me support you. Let me see what you're doing. Take a picture of one of your targets, send it to me, and let me help you identify what problems you're having. And let's see if we can make you more accurate than you are already. If you have not heard who I am, my name is John Johnson. I own and operate a firearms training facility, and I specialize in you. And every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we go live with topics just like this one, and I'm willing to take any comments or any options or anything you would say. I like to hear about this or I like to see about that because we love to hear from you. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel or any of our social media, please do so. Before you get off tonight, I want you to look down if you're watching it on YouTube and make sure you are subscribed. If you're not subscribed, please hit it. Costs you absolutely nothing. But what it does, it gives YouTube a little nudge. It says, hey, these people like this. Let's keep it going. If you haven't heard, the powers to be don't like the gun business and they don't like us helping you guys, if that makes sense. And I want to make sure that I'm always available for you. I started this channel many, many, many years ago to motivate, educate, and entertain. And if I did any of that this evening, please don't hesitate to hit the button. Hit the button. And it helps us tremendously and it promotes us to other people just like you. Well, thank you very much for being here this evening. I want to thank each and every one of you who had commented this evening. That's always cool. Um, uh, Ron and Christy, thank you very much. John Diamond, thank you very much. Kurt Richards, thank you. D. Marshall, California, thank you. James Weber from Dubai and Jose Sanchez from San Juan. Until next week, God willing, we'll see you next Tuesday. God bless, be safe, and remember, you are your first line defense. I love you very much. Good night, guys.